Friends and family, welcome to another week in real estate. It's Ryan Otteson here, the broker owner of Capital and Influence. There's a lot of really cool moving parts in the real estate industry right now, and I'm excited to get into those. We're going to hit three pretty briefly because I'm really excited to share with you this week our community partners. Last week we talked about who are we, right? Mission, vision, values. What does that look like? And so part of that, if we're going to move the kingdom forward through Capital and Influence, is we need to understand how do we do that with capital and with influence, with partners in the community who are impacting our local areas at a pretty high level. So I'm excited to share that with you. Really quick, some just quick fun facts, right? Purchasing a home is now 55 more expensive than it was a year ago. This is across the country, right? So National Association of Realtors does some polls, gets us some data, and literally they're saying it's 55% more expensive than it was a year ago to purchase a home. Unbelievable. Now, if you think that's crazy, combine this with the Federal Reserve on May 4th. They voted to raise the target short-term federal rate fund by a half a point. It marks the largest increase in the Fed's rate in more than 20 years. Now, that's not a half a rate on mortgage rates. That's a half a rate that the Fed is raising their rate. My buddy Cole likes to say, the head moves and the tail wags, or the whale moves and something wags something over there, right? Is that the tail shaking the head or the head shaking the tail? And so what they're anticipating is, because the Fed did that, they're anticipating rates to mortgage rates to follow that as well. So think about this. Mortgage rates are taken up 55% more expensive. And what I found interesting was the reason NAR said, or not was the reason, one of the things they gave as an example was wages are up, right? It's interesting. Wages are up 6%, inflation's out at 8.5%. There goes the wages, right? So even though they're making more, you get this, you're just not buying as much, right? So what's another interesting fact I thought here right now is, okay, so I'm just gonna drop this one. There is a 60% increase compared to 2 years ago of people that have gotten into the real estate industry. Now, some people would say congratulations. Some people would say, great. That's all we need is more realtors running around. And other people might say, excuse me, and other people might say, bless you. Now, when recording a video, we should probably stop, edit, and keep going. But listen, man, I love live theater. I love live fire. Let's just keep trucking. If that many more realtors are entering the workforce, right, as real estate professionals, for me, that's an indicator of the end of the top of the market, right? When it's supposed to be at its easiest and everybody can do it, and that we get flooded with agents, typically what follows next is some sort of market adjustment. But we'll see if that's just me being Babe Ruth and calling my shot. So is it impossible to buy a house? You just told me it's 55% more expensive. Inflation's wiping out my wage earnings, and the mortgage rates are going to go up. Yes, it's not the end of the world, right? Yes, you're still going to have to save money. Yes, you're still going to have to find a house to buy. Yes, you're still going to want to move your family into something. Yes, there are still flip opportunities out there. I looked at one yesterday. I'm looking at another one today, and I got 3 more offers out. Yes, those opportunities are still there. You have to determine what your criteria is to move it from an opportunity to a deal. That's another conversation, but we'll get into that. So this week, what do we want to highlight as a company, right? We do things a little different here at Capital and Influence. And so this week, we really do want to focus on what we call our community partners, right? To date, we have 2 community partners. One of them, For Freedom Outreach, near and dear to my heart, right? For Freedom is on a mission to help recon, rescue, and restore, some would say redeem the masculine heart, right? We do this by accomplishing and facilitating faith-based gatherings throughout Southern California that lead men into an authentic transformation of their heart. You can take it right off their website and read it yourself. Why not? I just did. What I really love, though, is the impact that For Freedom has had. Now, For Freedom has been around for just going on 8 years. They started off running book studies and training camps and more book studies. I think what I love the most is that the restoration of the masculine heart has spread throughout the valley, spread out into the Inland Empire. Now For Freedom Outreach will run a training camp, and there'll be over 40 different churches represented. Men are hungry. Men are on the move. men want to get into it. What's really been cool is out of the first couple of years of For Freedom Outreach, an organization called Hearts of Beauty was born because the man wanted to go, the wife wanted to follow. And so now you have the two images of God coming together and moving towards the kingdom, speaking the same vocabulary, moving in the same space, understanding the same actions, prayerfully different. It's been phenomenal. And out of that, really born a course called Leadership. It was a partnership with One and All Church, a partnership with an organization called Leadership in Australia, and literally to bring this youth ministry across the ocean 7 years ago. It was a 10-year journey. 7 years ago, it gets here. Now we're running week-long leadership development courses that are faith-based leadership and development programs, all of that because For Freedom Outreach started going after the hearts of men. That's impact. So we get behind that. What does that mean? Well, that means every time somebody associated with the For Freedom Outreach organization refers us a piece of business, we write a donation check back to them, right? It's a powerful way to help donate money to say, hey, listen, we want to be in business with believers. We want to be in business to generate capital, to give it to organizations that are having influence and massive impact on the kingdom. Our other, look, you got to have more than one, right? Our other one is McKinley's Children's Center. I don't know if you know this, but McKinley's Children's Center is on a mission to compassionately transform the lives of youth and families through initiative, education, counseling, and social services, inspiring hope to achieve success. Man, they are inspiring hope to do way more than achieve success. You can feel the heart and the passion and the soul of the people that serve on site in San Dimas. And I don't even know if you know that, but I mean, for lack of my good vocabulary, that's a boys' orphanage right in our own backyard, right? They don't like to call it that anymore, but that's what it is. They have been in business over 100 years right here in San Dimas. Impact, right? Widespread ties to hundreds of individuals, families, and neighborhood groups. And they get direct services to communities that are most vulnerable, children's, right? Children, adults, and they're just pushing. So, I mean, when you look what happens when you start restoring the hearts of men that are moving into the community, when you can get behind an organization that has withstood the world, right? And all that comes against this organization that is trying to save children, right? Widows and orphans, I read somewhere. And they are literally going after them, not only just to get them by, to get them 18 and out, but to set them up for success, to launch music rooms, to launch workout facilities, to understand that these kids need an outlet, and it can be physical, it can be musical, it can be educational, right? Man, to know that there's something right in my backyard that's moving the kingdom forward like that, it's a powerful thing. Widows, orphans, men, families. And you want to know why Capital and Influence partners with those organizations? If you haven't figured it out by now, we're pretty passionate about the hearts of men, the hearts of families, the hearts of children. And that's why we do what we do, right? We do it because we want to move the kingdom forward, and the ability to do that by providing excellent service in a real estate industry, earning your business, taking the capital and reinvesting it back into the community. I can't think of anything that's more powerful than that, anything that's more impactful for that. So thank you. Yes, rates are moving. Yes, real estate's happening, but this is part of who we are at Capital and Influence. Who we are is an extension through our community partners. And so For Freedom Outreach, thank you. McKinley Children's Center, thank you. Friends and family, see you next week.